In understanding what operations is, we break all firms, organisations, and other enterprises down into core and support functions. There are three core functions. Operations is a key function, but it might actually not be the most important function. There may be other functions of the firm or organisation which are actually more important. We state there are three core functions, in fact, any one of which may be considered to be the most important depending on the nature of the organisation. There's the marketing function, which is responsible for communicating about what the organisation actually does to its markets. This is the function that actually goes out and tries to get customers, and this should be considered broader than just customers who buy things. It could be internal customers, or it could be service users, for instance, for a government institution. And it's trying to find the people who actually want to use its goods and services and to promote its goods and services to them in order to boost more users. There's the product service development function, and this is the idea that all functions must change over time. You cannot just stand still with the same product, the same service, and expect to keep getting customers, to keep getting people wanting to use it. Things must be developed either to changing market conditions, or to changing ideas of fashion, or simply possibly in the public sector towards changing government ideas or prevailing views of society. And of course, this is what the idea is, to generate new and better products and services in order to continue to generate future customer requests. And of course, the third core function is, as we've been saying, is operations, which once marketing has designed an operation and product and services development has created the latest version of it, is responsible for making sure that those customer requests that come through are actually met. Customer need is met through the production and delivery of the appropriate goods and services that are required. In addition to this, we tend to believe most organizations have two support functions. They're the bean counters, the accounting and finance function. These are the ones who actually tried whether or not the service can be provided within the cost constraints of the organization. What are actually the price of delivering this? What price should we set in charging for this because of that? Without this function, it is difficult, if not impossible, to make serious and correct economic decisions. So the accounting and finance function manages all the different financial resources of the organization in a way that helps the operations function to deliver the correct products and services. And human resources function, which we've already looked at, which recruits and develops the organization's staff, looks after their welfare, makes sure they're able to do the work, make sure they're trained, make sure the most appropriate person is doing the most appropriate job. So one of the important things to look at with operations is to how all these different functions fit together. In general, therefore, we look at what are the activities of core functions of some organizations to give you some idea of how they may differ while having similarities. So, for instance, marketing and sales. For an internet service provider, they try and get people to register. They're trying to get the initial customer who buys the service, but then they'll also be responsible for trying to get additional customers who will buy advertising space. Similarly, in a fast food chain, they may organize advertising on television, etc., but also devise promotional materials, devise the freebies, devise the things like the McDonald's monopoly and things like that that enable companies to get rebuys after people have originally heard about it, perhaps from TV, will go to buy the food once, but may go back and buy it another. Furniture manufacturer, possibly more likely to advertise in magazines and on television. The marketing sales have to decide how much it's going to charge for things, and it will sell not directly probably to customers, but most likely to stores, to an intermediate customer, but not to the final consumer. Product and service developments in the internet service divider, they look for new services that can be provided, faster services, making sure that the ISP can be as quick as possible, going from sort of copper to optical fiber, etc. But also they're looking at new information. What sort of information can be provided up front? What sort of service they're going to offer for that? So an internet service provider is also an information content provider. Fast food chain looking to develop new foods, maybe new mixtures, the idea of fusion cookies that bring different areas, but also design different decor for the restaurants. So for instance, McDonald's have recently started to launch a chain of coffee shops to try and look more like a Starbucks type approach. And the furniture manufacturers both designing new furniture but also coordinating new colours on existing furniture, maybe new styles on existing furniture. For operations, of course, is the key thing for internet service provider, keeping the hardware and software up to date and making sure the content is provided and looks correct. So both the design of the web pages and the actual maintenance of the software and hardware behind the web pages are what make the operations function. At a fast food chain, they actually make the food. They make the food, they service the food, but also there are people there who maintain the equipment. They're part of operations. Make sure the ovens are working, make sure the grills are working, make sure the fridges are working. And finally, for furniture manufacture, they manufacture the components, but they also assemble the furniture. And the operations function to furniture manufacturer will also be responsible for delivering the furniture. Sometimes it deliver it to the store, but sometimes you buy at a store, but your actual couch or bed will be delivered direct from the manufacturer.